Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the 46th President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and happy belated birthday, Mr. President.
It's hell turning 40, I tell you. Tough. It's tough.
What, did you say 40?
40, yeah. That's a tough year to get by, man. It's hard.
Mr. President, I'm doing good, Mr. President. And thank you, President Biden, for the letter that you wrote when my son passed away and the things that you wrote about your own son. I really appreciate that. And from me and my family, we absolutely love you and appreciate that.
Well, you know, Ricky, it's as you know, there's nothing like losing a part of your soul.
And we appreciate everything that you're doing. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, Mr. President, some of the things that you're doing to lower the cost for families ahead of the holidays. And are we going into a recession or not?
Well, you know, Ricky, the economists have been saying since they got elected, next month, the recession. There's going to be no soft landing. Looks like we may be having a soft landing. We're in a situation where we're better off than any other major country in the world, our economy. One of the things that used to drive my dad crazy, we weren't poor, but we were, lived in a split-level, 3-bedroom home with 4 kids and a grandpa. And one of the things that was driving him crazy, though, were these costs that were just sort of made-up costs, these junk fee costs you don't get any notice about. And so what I've started to do, and I know people who make a lot of money, it doesn't matter a whole hell of a lot to them, but it matters a lot to where I come from. For example, the exorbitant cost of if you overdraft your credit card. If you're in a situation where you write a check that bounces, it's the exorbitant price you pay. If you're getting on a flight and you find out you wanted your kid to sit next to you, find out it's going to cost you another 60, 70, 80 bucks. All those junk fees. And now the corporations are coming back suing me to try to stop me. But I'm going to continue to work to eliminate these fees because it has real impact on average families, and particularly Black, Hispanic, and poor white families. And,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And speaking of which, a lot of criticism in the Black community that your, administration might not be doing enough to improve their day-to-day life. What is your answer to that, Mr.
Well, my
President?
answer to that is I understand the frustration because so much is going on in their lives. But look, our policies have brought down Black unemployment to one of its lowest rates in a long, long, long time. We're in a situation where we also find ourselves with, it was 9.2% when I took office. Now it's down to 5.9%. There's the lowest, the difference between average white employment and Black employment is that unemployment fell to a record low. We're in a situation where we're providing for significant help in terms of the Black net worth of the family has gone up 60% since the pandemic under me. We've kept an awful lot of people, as you recall, Ricky, in their homes and rent. We took care of child care and generations. We reduced child poverty significantly. And who are the people that need this? These working folks who are busting their rear end just to get by, Black, Hispanic, and poor white communities. That's what I focused on.
No, that's a good question. Now, one of the things with all of the stuff that's going on, as dysfunctional as things are in Congress right now, are you concerned that you're not going to be able to deliver on a lot of key issues like gun violence prevention and voting rights expansion, seeing what we see with the United States Congress?
Well, I am concerned, but remember when I got elected, they said I couldn't get anything done. And I got more done in my first 3 years of major consequence than anybody since Franklin Roosevelt.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, for real. That sounds like I'm bragging, but the fact of the matter is, for example, these MAGA Republicans, these right-wing Republicans, for example, we were able to double Pell Grants for people going on to school, and which is a lifesaver for so many families. Guess what? They want to get rid of the Pell Grant program. They want to cut it back. I've got almost $6 billion to HBCUs. They want to cut that back. My God, it's a natural asset. The only drawback is the mayor's with me here. He's a Kappa, so I don't know.
Hey, I'm an Omega. So
I get it. You're talking to the first president that brought the Divine Nine inside the White House, man.
Yes, sir.
By the way, I have an ongoing fight or argument with the vice president. She thinks that the best HBCU in America is here in Washington, and I think it's in Delaware State. So I just want you guys to know that, but that's a different issue.
Yes, sir. Yeah, a lot of people forgot about Delaware State University is an HBCU in your home state, Mr. President.
Let me tell you, forget about it. That's right. That's where I got raised, man, politically. You think I'm kidding? No, I'm not. Anyway, look, Ricky, I just think that there's a lot going on. And these right-wing guys and the stuff that Trump is talking about is just off the wall. I mean, it's almost, I don't know, it's almost punitive what they're doing.
And just with the whole authoritarian tone, which is really scary, Mr. President, that's why we have to get out and vote.
Well, I tell you what, I know everybody's frustrated, even though, like I said, we've made great progress compared to where we were and where other nations are. But there's still a lot that's not being taken care of. I mean, you talk about what happened with police brutality. And, we tried to get the law passed that was going to make a big difference after that chokehold killed a man who should still be alive. Well, I took executive action to make sure that there's no chokeholds, that police misconduct be reported to one central place, a whole range of things I can do by executive order, but it doesn't give me the same authority I have in order the legislation I want to see passed. So I think we can make more progress on health care. We're in a situation where we've capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month down from $400 a month. We've lowered the price of hearing aids. We've increased black enrollment in health care plans by almost 50%. I've been fighting Big Pharma for 30 years. But guess what? In 2025, it's already passed into law that no senior ever have to pay more than $2,000 a year for prescription drugs, even if they have cost of for $14,000, $15,000 for cancer treatments. Medicaid, for postpartum coverage, a whole range of things that are basic things that everyone should be entitled to.
Absolutely. Mr. President, on a personal note, I have to ask you, do you still have your Corvette at your house?
I do have my 67 Corvette. And I think I told you, Ricky, how I got that.
Right.
I was getting married 180 years ago, my deceased wife. And my dad didn't have any money, but he ran an automobile. He was the manager. And so he asked my wife to bring her car in and me to bring my car in. And I had a 61 Chevy. She had a Pontiac Tempest. And he's going to fix it all up when we go down a week before the wedding, before we go back up to her hometown where we got married. The whole staff was out around in a big circle. And we got there, we opened up, and there was a 1967 Goodwood Green 327 350 Corvette there.
Nice.
And it cost $50. He could pay. He could afford the car payments. He couldn't afford to buy it outright. And so I still have it. And the only time I get to drive it is when I go out to the Secret Service test track. And I get to drive it. It cost $750, and I could get a lot more than that. But my son Bo come down from heaven if I ever sold it.
Right. That's awesome, man. It is such a pleasure having you, Mr. President.
And by the way, you guys got to come. Last year, you weren't able to come to the State of the Union. I'd like to invite you this time, pal.
Yes, sir. We will be there.
All right, man. Well,
all right, President Biden, we love you and thank you for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up right now for the 46th President of the United States of America, President Joe Biden.
God love you, man. Thanks a million.